you guys kind of picture this little island, a little tiny circle, and on this island is about 70% of trees. You have plenty of water, and you guys control this island. You guys rule this island, and within this island is a village of 100 people. Okay, and there's no technology, hardly any electricity. So it's a nightmare for most of you already. Every year, a blizzard hits your little island, and you need heat, like some type of staying warm. So you're forced to go to the trees and cut them down, and over a 100-year span, obviously your population is going to increase, and so you're forced to cut down another area of trees. So after 100 years, there's about 20% of trees left. What is this? This is called deforestation, and what that is the process of the acting of cutting down trees and the removal of trees in an area. There's a lot of controversial topics about this. Mainly are negative. There's some good. I'm going to talk mainly about what the negative has on our environment, the effect it has on our environment, and to us as humans. There's a lot of countries still now that are practicing deforestation. They're mainly because of population, because under many countries that underdeveloped, countries that just the population increased really highly and really fast, that they need land for their civilians to live in, and so obviously they're gonna cut down trees for them to live in. The good thing is, obviously, with this great amount of land, you're able to grow cash crops. We have land for your cattle that's going to supply food for your country. Currently now there's commercial logging companies that are growing that's going to supply our building material and wood fire. But the very negative, the very bad thing about cash crops on the places that they're growing is the soil that they're putting the crops in is bad soil, bad nutrition, because already with the forest soil it's really poor nutrition. When the cutters take down the trees and they cut it and they burn it, the ashes from the trees go into the soil and it fertilizes the soil. That can only last up to 3 to 5 years. And with that, that means you can hardly plant any crops there, food. Also, when you cut down the trees, obviously the soil needs some type of shade, and because there's no shade, when soil hits 25 degrees centigrade, the soil is pretty much bad. Like, you can't use that at all. Mainly canopy is for rainforest, and canopy is blocking, what that is blocking the sun rays to hit the plants and soil and everything, and keeping the temperature, a certain temperature within that forest. And when we're going down and cutting down the trees and everything, one, the temperature is going to fluctuate during the day and night, which is really bad for plants and animals that are living there, because they are already adapted to the environment that this rainforest has. And once the trees are gone, well, obviously we can replant, but it takes a couple of years. Animals that they're in rainforests mainly, they're very unique type of animals in there, and that you really don't see like around in like California and stuff. They're going to be extinct, and our plants as well. When a lot of plants from the U.S. environmental Pedro A. Sanchez, a soil scientist, said that with these plants, a lot of these plants are used in the medical field, and once we chop them up and they're gone, there's not going to be a lot of medical plants to be help with us. Another main issue is global warming. Obviously, you guys already know what global warming is. I'm probably bored of hearing that, so I'm not going to go too long about that. But it's really important. Our trees play a big, important role in global warming. I mean, obviously, we breathe carbon dioxide, and the trees absorb all the excess carbon dioxide, which causes, if we're cutting it down, the trees, we're speeding up the process of the warmth, and this is causing, obviously, sea levels to change, temperature, weather patterns to change, and also, it's, I forgot the third one. Well, anyways, well, when global warming takes effect to us, it's also just going to ruin kind of the human nature, and we also obviously need a certain temperature for us to survive. As in, like, if we increase the temperature, obviously it's going to get too hot, and we're all going to sadly die or burn. In conclusion, we kind of need. I know it's really impossible to stop deforestation, but we can, as we individuals, can help by conserving what we use, as in like trees and paper and stuff like that, and just kind of try your best to conserve stuff.
Joe's not here, is he? Okay.
Right here.
Oh, there you are. I'm looking for you in the center aisle there. I don't know why. There he is. Okay, go ahead, Joe.
I like the topic, and I liked how you talked about how it can hurt our environment with like greenhouse gases and how the trees help fight against that. And I thought it was a pretty good lead-in, where you said about the island, and as the population grows, natural resources kind of diminish. I thought you could have proved your point a little bit more, could add a little bit more direction, like as to saying like why it's wrong. But yeah, that's about it.
All right, Darryl, I think the visualization that you have at the beginning is okay, but it starts getting complicated. It takes a long time to get to the point. I know you're trying to create this metaphor for us to relate to, but it needs to go a little bit faster, and you need to get to the point. You really sound uncertain about how to even say the word that is the subject of your speech, so you need a little bit more practice. A lot of it sounds like it's an informative speech. I'm going to explain what all these complicated relationships are, and I'm not sure that everybody needs to be convinced that deforestation is problematic. But even if we do need to be convinced, you need to give us some data on this. I got one source citation in the speech that you provide, and it's not really about the impact of deforestation on the environment. It's about the use of some of the things in the forest, and the rainforest in particular, for medication. Everything else is mostly asserted, hinted at, you describe things. Deforestation, for instance, in the rainforest, I think, is really the area that you are most concerned with, and we don't get any numbers on how rapidly it's occurring, whether or not the forest, because it's one thing, for instance, if you are clearing for the purpose of building cities, then I could see you're not going to be replanting. But if you're just harvesting lumber, I'm thinking about all those people on that island, for instance. I'm going, how stupid are you? You know you've got a limited amount of resources there. Plant some more trees every year as you're burning up the other trees, and by the time 100 years later, you're going to have some more trees. It doesn't take 100 years to grow some some trees that, you know, if you got a cycle on that, that's not really where the issue is. The issue is the clear-cutting kind of stuff that goes on where they put in cities or farmlands, and they're not replacing those kinds of things. You know, so we don't have the same kinds of problems with deforestation that we had once upon a time in the northern hemisphere, but you get a lot of it in the southern hemisphere, and that's, you know, there's just not enough information that's being presented here. And then you got to kind of go off on some tangents. Sorry.